Another day, another episode of Spiteful Lovers in a Perfect World, and I'm very excited to get back into it because I've just been thinking across this week, when am I going to get time to play Spiteful Lovers in a Perfect World, when am I going to get time to do recording, and now that time has come. I might even get 2 done, who knows, because I need to find out what this guy is hiding, if anything. About his death serum. So let's start pressing. Now it'll be me and Pala, yes? That's right. I know I didn't do it. And Pala definitely didn't do it, so I don't think it's possible the killer could have meant all that this time then. I don't know, I reckon she could do it. I don't know why. I don't know why she would. I reckon she could do it. Especially considering there were 3 of us standing watch. It's not like I was completely alert and looking at the serum the whole time. I was busy talking to you after all. I suppose that's fair, but... Well, Paolo, what about you? You didn't notice anything while your brother and I were talking? Can't say that I did. No, I mean, I literally can't say because I never revealed that I was the killer. Oops. Yeah, there you have it. Ignore what you just said. Only Miss Lang would spend her precious time proving when her theory couldn't have happened. Why don't you just mind your own business? I seem to recall that Ophelia simply placed the bag down on the desk. Is it possible that there was something sharp on that desk that punctured both bag and syringe? Maybe someone placed a tiny needle there beforehand? The witness specified that the bag was placed upon the desk face up. If it was such a needle, we'd expect the hole to be made on the bottom side of the bag. Alas, it was the top side, so your theory is an impossibility. Ah, well, maybe it's possible if... Please do not push this theory any further. You mean to say that someone who visited me earlier in the day is the culprit, yes? Unfortunately for you, the only other people who visited me that day were my students. And I am absolutely certain that none of them are capable of such a thing. Is that so? That sounds like it could be important. Miss Lang, your stance. I'll ignore it. There's nothing special. Please proceed with your testimony. Just kidding, I am actually going to add it. I just wanted to say... I don't know why I'm just a completionist. I want to see every bit of dialogue. I agree. Mr. Whedon, please add that to your testimony. If I must. Even in the people who visited my room beforehand were my students, such as Ollie. What did those visits entail? They were mostly coming to say their goodbyes. I'd already informed them all that I would be passing on, you see. Seeing their faces again, it almost made me want to stick around just a little while longer. Almost. Regardless, I know that they are all incapable of harm. Therefore, I'm certain nothing happened before you 2 arrived. I don't know, there are some pretty... there are some pretty weird kids out there. There's some pretty... almost evil kids, but... my suspicion initially was that it wasn't that he was trying to cause any harm, but that Ollie was trying to stop Whedon from getting that death serum. And, you know, that might still be a possibility. So we still reckon he was hiding something that he just wasn't revealing when we cross-examined him before. Why was it that Ophelia had to make sure we left? You were there, weren't you? Sure, but when you've got a century and a half of memories in your brain, remembering is hard. I don't know what you're talking about, because I'm a young, spry 72-year-old, you see. I suppose it happened a few days ago. As I recall, she had to prepare for a shift change. This is the busiest time of the day for a hospital, so she needed all the visitors to leave. Oh yeah, I remember now. Shift change, eh? That could be relevant. What do you think, Miss Lang? Will it say the same thing if I click ignore it? I don't believe it matters. Please continue, Mr. Whedon. As you command. The judge seems to be quite on top of things, actually. Yes, I agree. Please add that to your testimony. As you wish. Mr. Feely was busy preparing for a shift change. That doesn't tell us anything, does it? I'm not so knowledgeable about the medical field. What would a shift change entail? Neither am I. You might better serve asking my sister about that. Oh, fair enough. Huh? Sure, I can be of some help here. Shift change is always the busiest time in any hospital. Nurses have to provide paperwork to hand off their patients to the next person on shift. From what I can tell, it seems like Dale's injection was scheduled just before the shift change. So Ophelia's probably rushing to get it done as well, along with the paperwork. What? Why would the most important man in the world's centennial injection be put at the busiest time in the hospital, right when someone else is about to get the death serum as well? This hospital. I guess people were probably too busy to pay attention too much while that was happening. So does that mean? You look like you've thought of something. Maybe I have. We'll see. Oh. Doesn't seem like my brother knows anything that could help us. I suppose the killing of Savannah Meadow while he wasn't over there. Like when he was distracted or sleeping. Damn it, Whedon. Why'd you have to go and fall asleep at a time like this? Although, technically, he would have had ample opportunity to temple while he was alone. You don't seriously suspect him, do you? Of course not. He's your brother. I just think stupid things when my brain's unattended. No, I get it. You're fine. I suppose it's a reasonable thing to cross your mind in this situation. Regardless, our argument isn't looking so strong right now. We want to patch those holes up soon. Right. If we could actually prove how and when to kill a metal, that'd be great. Any aspects of our argument that look like a weak point might be something to focus on. I know we'd really like to be proving things with hard facts and all, but if we can just prove how what we say might have been possible, that might be a step in the right direction. Now we can press this last statement. Did you notice something odd when you woke up? A scream coming from the other room, for one. That's what woke me up in the first place. Oh, right. That was Ophelia's reaction to what happened. But I mean, in your own room. In my own room? Can't say I did. Everything seemed ordinary. In theory, the killer would have punctured the bag in your room while you were asleep. Suppose you wouldn't have seen a hole there when there wasn't before? You see the size of this hole, yes? It's positively minuscule. So no, I do not believe the witness would have seen it. As a matter of fact, I didn't. It must have escaped my attention. I suppose that's not surprising. Blah 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 blah. Two lesbians discussing crimes. Okay. Now to actually figure this shit out. I can't think of anyone else who would have won. Was busy preparing for a shift change. Let's take a look at the evidence. One set of glove marks. Feel these fingerprints on a set of glove marks. An ordinary pile of syringes. Syringe used to administer the serum that seems to have killed Bells. Two sets of glove marks. Already half empty. brought the serum in as she was talking. Is this how we present the blood, maybe? No. Well, I want to see this dialogue anyway. Mr. Whedon, there's a clear contradiction in your testimony. Oh dear, what is it? It's right. I could have sworn it was around here somewhere. Do you need help finding it? Sure, that'll be appreciated. Let's see here. Oh, I found something. What is it? A penalty. I guess I should have seen that coming. Maybe the shift changed then. The blood doesn't go on either of these, I don't think. Okay. Small amount of unidentifiable red liquid is inside, and the barrel has a tiny hole inside of it. And still didn't kill Dales. This club marks maybe? No? What's this one? So this is the glove marks on the syringe. Actually, I believe the shift change could tell us quite a lot. And so I'm happy to be of help with that. Mix Factora, earlier you asked how the killer could have meddled with Theos' syringe. I believe the hectic nature of the shift change may have our answer. What are you trying to say? Shift change is an extremely busy period for the hospital. Nurses handing off patients to each other, all wandering through the hallways willy-nilly. Everyone's in a rush, so it's not likely anyone would notice any sort of shady business. As long as you look and act like you belong somewhere, nobody will question you. Nothing you say is wrong, yet. Sure, fine. All of that is possible, I suppose. Yes, fine, they can have one win. However! Damn it. It remains nothing more than a shallow possibility. I was willing to let you see this line of reasoning through before, Miss Lang. However, it appears you continue to only throw ideas at the wall and never back them up with proof. It is beginning to appear like you're only grasping at straws. If you intend to accuse a mystery third party, the burden of proof is on you. Damn it, seems the court's done with my antics. Everything about my theory is possible, but possible won't cut it anymore. If I don't prove something fast, I'm done for. Well, I'm all ears. Do you have any evidence of this meddling? Any at all? The glove marks on Whedon's syringe, isn't that... Not good enough! You said the killer meddled with both syringes, yes? I'm afraid one won't be enough if you intend to see this through. Besides, it's entirely possible that Ollie earlier was just mistaken. Maybe the defendant really did touch that syringe, and he just didn't realize. He's only a child. It's completely understandable. This isn't good. Do we have any proof, Sophie? If we did, I don't think you'd have to ask. But if we can't prove anything, then... No, I don't give up hope. There must be something we can do. If Paula really was the killer, it would benefit her to get Sophie to defend, because it's the one person she knows would never accuse her. Because, you know, she obviously knows Sophie has crush. Okay, maybe there's a little out there, and I'm really just accusing everyone in my profiles right now. But because I still think he did something, but I don't think that was, you know, intent. I think he might have done something to try and save Brighton's life. And I'm less suspicious of Brighton himself now. Even though I thought he might have had something to do with, like, he scheduled himself to die at that time because he wanted to do something to Thales for some reason. And that could still be the case, but I'm leaning a bit more towards this theory right now. Even though, you know, Sophie would never accuse him. And I think that's exactly the point. Wait, what if we don't have to prove anything at all? What do you mean? So we can just poke holes in Mix Factora's theory. Our own theory will look far nicer in comparison. At that point, the judge will have to concede that our argument is stronger. Huh. You might be right. If you're stuck in a corner, you know what to do. Yeah. Maybe about time for another logic line deduction. Oh yeah, we're doing another line. And I've got to type some loose threads while I'm there. Don't keep us waiting, Miss Line. You want proof? Sorry, but I can't give you any. I assume we're not meant to take that as a resignation. Of course not. Why would I resign now when the prosecution's argument is riddled with holes? Is that so? I'd love to see them, if they even truly exist. Easy. With the power of logic lines, everything will become clear. It's thinking time. Mr. Whedon's testimony confirms something I already noticed. The bag Ophelia brought into his room was labelled Death. He didn't know anything strange when he awoke, so we can assume it was still the case then. Therefore, we knew the bag in Thales' room was the opposite, the one labelled Immortality. I knew that, of course. I saw Mr. Whedon's bag both before and after Dr. Thales was killed. But now the court knows it too, so we have our confirmation of the bag's positions. But, unlike last time, we're not going to get anywhere with just our recent knowledge. Let's go back to what we learned talking to Ophelia. I thought I'd mixed up the two serums, so I rushed over to Dr. Thales' room, so I could administer his dose of Immortality Serum. But then, Dr. Thales... Ophelia? I thought I put the syringes in the wrong bags. I thought I could fix everything if I swapped them. And because of my carelessness, a man died. That's right. Ophelia swapped the bags to contain the serums. Because when she looked into Whedon's bag and saw a red serum, she thought she'd mix them up. I suppose she never looked into Thales' bag, or this whole tragedy could have been avoided. This might seem unrelated, but I wonder if the bioweapons have been I found ties to any of this. So... She looked into the bag, but she didn't... So I thought it makes sense what she said. So she was going to administer his dose, but then she swapped them after seeing that this one so this one contained red liquid. So that might not have oxidized when she saw it. Oh, Sophie, you'll love this. Guess what this bin does? Guess for the trash? Close, actually converts the trash directly into energy. No need to worry about messy waste disposal systems. This gets rid of trash entirely. Huh, that's neat, I guess. Isn't it? No trace left behind. So that's how we never found the glass Ollie and Ophelia cleaned up. That biohazard bin leaves no trace, just converts whatever you throw inside straight to energy. And of course, there's one more loose thread that never got completely tied up. Namely, the glove marks on those pieces of evidence, the bags and the syringes. Presumably they came from the killer, but where do those missing gloves even go? Missing gloves, eh? So the missing gloves, I think, would have gone into the biohazard bin, right? I think that'll be the first one we connect. Oh! And that's everything. Looks like I can just about get to it. However, I don't think the causality line is really going to be much help here. As such, it's likely the time to try something new. Namely, the connection line and the contradiction line. First, we need a refresher on how the connection and contradictions lines work. Sure, why not? Perfect, I was looking for a recap. The clue's in the name, really. The connection line is about finding a connection between two of my memories. This is always going to be less specific than a straight-up cause and effect relationship. You can say a paintbrush is connected to an easel, if they both made the same painting. But a paintbrush certainly doesn't cause an easel, that doesn't even make sense. Meanwhile, the contradiction line is about, well, contradictions. It's just as simple as finding contradictions between evidence and testimony. Only, instead of evidence and testimony, it's two of my own memories. Like the causality line, connections and contradictions are omnidirectional. Even if you flip the order, an easel is still connected to a paintbrush in the same way as the reverse. And testimony can still contradict evidence like evidence contradicts testimony. And that's about it. Going to hear that again? Or am I good? Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm ready. Let's do it. Okay, so it's the gloves in the biohazard bin. And we say connection.
Eureka!
Of course, why didn't I think of that before? Yes, what the defense is blabbering about. Your Honor, you record the glove marks on those 3 pieces of evidence. It was my belief that at least some of them came from the killer. However, one thing always eluded me. Namely, where those gloves end up after the fact? Get to the point! Into the biohazard bin. Ollie and Ophelia used to dispose of the glass shards yet. But can you not deny that it could have also destroyed the gloves the killer used in the crime? Come to think of it, I bet the same is true of the syringe used to poke the holes in the other syringes. Objection! More conjecture! Will you never make a single point with hard facts? That could have happened. Like anything else in your meaningless theory could have happened. Doesn't mean any of it actually did. So currently, I'm doing a lot of checking back, but it's just to make sure I've got all the facts straight in my head. The gloves the killer used in the crime means that they would have had to have been out in that hallway at some time unsupervised. So I'm not sure if Pella would have the chance to do that. And the syringe used to poke the holes in the other syringes. Could have happened. There's a large amount of syringes, so no one would notice if one went missing. I'm pretty sure Whedon himself confirmed that. Doesn't mean any of it actually did. But you'll realise this all ties back to the glove marks on Mr. Whedon's syringe. They cannot have come from the defendant. cannot explain where they came from at all. And now you can't even explain where the gloves that left them went afterwards. Well, I can. After all, why get rid of them if you didn't do anything suspicious with them? Objection! Is it not common practice to dispose of hospital gloves after you're done with them? Fine, I'll admit that. But at the very least, it throws yet more doubt on your argument. That piles up, you know. Doubt, you say? Weren't you supposed to be finding contradictions? There's plenty of doubt on your argument as well, you know. Unless you can explain something that my argument cannot. The court will never be able to accept your theory over mine. Very well. One logic line is all it will take to obliterate you. I guess then the contradiction would be she switched the bags, but they both still read the same. Right? You can't even do a causality line. And go back. No, we're not going to go back. Actually, no, because I want to see what happens, what the failure dialogue is for this. So it's clear. We'll say connection. Observe, my deduction has borne fruit. Why couldn't you just be normal? No one's asking you to use this stupid logic line system, you know. How dare you? Logic lines have a long and storied legacy. I heard they originated from the country of France. Or something like that, anyway. I must admit, you're coming off as rather stubborn, Miss Lang. Without my logic lines, what am I? A normal lawyer that makes sense. I think we'd all prefer it that way. I suppose that was illogical of me. But anyway, we can do the actual connection now. Mr. Whedon, allow me to confirm something with you just one more time. When my client brought the bag into your room, the label on it read death, correct? So it did. And when you awoke from your slumber, this was still the case. Yes, I thought that to be true. But whatever do you mean? I don't see how that label could have suddenly changed. Ah, but it should have. You see, I learned something very interesting while talking to my client in the detention center. It appears she noticed something was off about the serums after placing the bags in your rooms. So she swapped the bags to fix the issue. What did you say? Defense? If this is true then, that completely contradicts the witness's testimony. Then it must not be true. Simple as that. What reason do we have to trust the defendant, who was on trial here in the first place? Besides, Mr. Whedon made no mention of the swap in his testimony. It did not happen. He made no mention of it because he simply didn't see it. He took a nap, remember? And besides, I see very little reason to doubt my client's words here. Oh? Besides the fact that she's still accused of taking a man's life? She's accused of accidentally meddling with the serums to kill Dr. Thales. Surely admitting to swapping the bags would help the case against her, not hurt her. At least usually. So why would she tell a lie that only gets her in bigger trouble? That is, Your Honor, this is a discrepancy that cannot be explained by the prosecution's current theory. By all accounts, the strange label shenanigans don't make sense. If Thales' death was an accident. Well, we're talking about strange labels and medication bags. This is sounding quite similar to a case of turnabouts here. But an intentional killer could easily have swapped the bags himself to cancel out Ophelia's swap. That would involve running to and from both of the patient's rooms to perform the swap. It's true that there was a shift change that may have provided a small opportunity, but that was not enough time to get everything done before your client swapped the bags herself. Why do you say the supposed killer in the defense's theory had to swap the bags before the defendant? Actually, I agree with them here. It would explain why she decided to swap them in the first place. I don't believe she would check the bag's contents unprompted when she already did earlier with Olive. And mismatched labels are likely what made her do such a thing. If you agree with me, you must admit that it would be impossible for the killer to swap them in time. I mean... we gotta come up with some explanation for the label contradiction. Otherwise the whole point of raising doubt on Factora's theory becomes moot. Don't worry, I think I've got it. This explains how the killer was able to make it so that the two bags appeared to be swapped. Stick it on. I'm on top of these contradictions. These contradictions, the contradictions that I'm most familiar with. Maybe it's possible the killer didn't actually swap the bags at all. But merely swapped the labels. They're only stickers. Anyone could do it. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the wrong thing. This is probably, maybe, potentially correct. You don't sound so sure. Well, maybe not. You know, I was almost willing to give you the edge over Mixed Factora with that contradiction. Alas, it seems you are just as unable to explain it as they are. Come on, Sophie, don't fumble while we're so close. We're gonna come up with some explanation for the label contradiction. Oh. Anyway. Also, new labels. And when would they have the opportunity to do this? While Ollie and Ophelia were busy cleaning up the shards of that shattered beaker, of course. That's lying. It appears you have successfully demonstrated and explained an inconsistency. One that, as the facts stand, Mixed Factora cannot. However, I must ask, why would this killer of yours do such a thing? Ah, well that's easy. Obviously they were trying to... actually, I have no idea. So much for all that build-up. To know the killer's purpose in misleading us, first I need to know what they were misleading us from. As as it stands, I have no idea what it was in those syringes, so I just can't know that. I don't know if this explains every suspicious thing about those serum's positions. Then your theory cannot truly be called complete, can it? At least I have some explanation for the facts. You have none. The defense is correct. I cannot buy the prosecution's claims because they do not explain this contradiction. I see! It's a small win, but at least it's a win. One existing diversions has been. Not only does the defense explain why the gloves and extra syringe went after the crime, but they've also revealed a gaping hole in the prosecution's argument. Namely, the defendant swapped the two bags, and yet said bags did not appear to be swapped. Once a third party is the killer, this inconsistency seemingly cannot be resolved. I'd say you've summarized my points pretty succinctly. Mixed Factoria, your rebuttal? I don't know yet. Yes, an infallible prosecutor is finally, flapped. So we got that big break we needed. About time. I'm not sure I believe it myself. It feels too easy. Was it really just the labels were swapped, or is something else at play? We can workshop it later. The important thing is that the judge is no longer swayed by Factoria. I must admit I am baffled by the prosecution's failure to rebut the defense's theory. I believe the inconsistency with the defendant's supposed swap would disappear if the prosecution claimed she killed the victim not by mistake, but on purpose. You raise a very fascinating point. However, it is impossible for me to claim that. It is simply not true. The defendant has no motive against Dr. Thales. She has no reason to kill him. Motive, huh? I think I know that's what it came down to, and that's why they stuck to the manslaughter charge. I suppose motive is something I'll have to think about when I have to accuse the suspect. Very well. In that case, we will take a short recess for both sides to collect their thoughts. You'll have 15 minutes. Court is adjourned. To be continued. We're going on to part 3. A whole new part. You good, Sans Bar? You good? Come on, almost there. There we go. Yes, you get to see me again. Me in the room filled with blue. Me, the only non-blue thing in this room. Because even those guards are wearing blue. What was the time? 12:15 p.m. Independent login number 4. Oh wow, you look incredible in there, Sophie. Was I? I felt like my brain was moving on autopilot. You did good, trust me on this. Up till now, I was convinced that I did it. Why wouldn't I be? It was right after I administered his serum that he... But after seeing what you did out there, I think maybe I could be innocent after all. If you're right, and someone else really did meddle with my syringes, I mean... I know she is. We've got to be on the right track. Me, you know she is, because you're the one who did it, Pala. Oh. I'm not going to back off this theory. Because I don't reckon it's him anymore. I might pull a U-turn on me after I swept him in the first instance and then turn out to really be the killer. Or it might be Ollie in some kind of tragedy, but I honestly don't think he was the one who was responsible for the death. I think he did something that might have interfered with the plan somewhat. Actually, yeah, maybe someone was trying to... No, I'm not sure. I had a thought then, and then I realised that thought was... I don't even know. My brain is trying to figure out everything with the serums and the blood, and it's all going to tie in somehow. That said, did any of those testimonies seem weird to you two? What do you mean? Oh, you know, like someone was, actually, never mind. I must have been imagining things. Then why do you look so gloomy? Are you sure? Come on, Ophelia, you can talk to him. Defendant, the prosecution is looking for you. Ah, seriously? Now of all times? It's alright, Pala. We can talk again once the trial's over. After we win. That's the spirit. I mean, you could just... There's 3 I was going to say 2 witnesses, but 3 witnesses technically, because we've got the detective, him is telling a lie, and I'm pretty sure she's talking about Ollie in this instance. Good luck out there! I don't know what Nick Spector even wants with Ophelia anyway. We'll probably find out before long. Ah, well, I doubt anything they do can stop us now. It really showed them just now with the label inconsistency. Just one contradiction. No bounce back from it. Isn't the prosecution supposed to talk with the defendant when we're present as her lawyer? I don't know, it's... weird Ace Attorney logic, or maybe it's weird future logic. I don't know. And I don't know, I just said words to get myself out of a corner. I have no idea if any of it will actually lead anywhere. In fact, I'm not really sure what to make of it myself. Something tells me there's more to this case than meets the eye. I believe the simple path will be the correct one. And Paula about earlier. Sophie, you're not doubting Ophelia's innocence already, are you? Please don't tell me you're only doing this for my sake and not hers. She's uncomfortably close to the money. Sorry about that. I don't have the easiest time trusting others, clients included. You trust me, don't you? That's different. You don't have that fake-sounding optimism it feels like everyone in this world has. Also, I've known you for so long too. I know we're so alike. I know what you mean, but for Ophelia, that's no lie. She's a terrible actress, you know. Well, now I just feel like an asshole. Still, there's a reason I need this view anyway. A reason I can't stop obsessing over you. That's not going to disappear overnight. If ever, to be honest. You have a strange look in your eyes. Do I? Hey, Sophie, promise me something, okay? I have to know what I'm promising first. Ah, fair enough. Can you promise me that even if this trial doesn't go your way, you keep on fighting? Like if Ophelia gets declared guilty? Something like that. No, you're the one with a strange look in your eyes. Why? Right, I remember. The grey one's cybernetic. She's a cyborg, technically. Is that gonna come relevant to the crime? I'm just thinking of anything to put it on her now, but... just trying to wonder... Like, cybernetic eye seeing things differently or something. Can you look at me, Paula? Huh? Paula, would you by my side? I can do anything. So sure, I can promise that. For you. I'm actually happy to hear, but... Can't hear you. I said I'm glad to hear it. Because it's my ears. And let's win this trial, for Ophelia's sake, of course. September 25th, 12:30 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Court is back in session for the trial of Ophelia Payne. If there's anyone else I'm suspicious of as this judge, she's definitely got a sort of, you know, menacing look in her eyes sometimes. Although she does seem quite lenient as well. And obviously a lot smarter than typical judges. See, because I only exist in a wall now. I do think it would have been funny to have the exact same judge 500 years later just taking the immortality serum. But you know, it's we got him in the game as painting on the wall, so I'm happy enough for that. Ex Victoria, are you prepared to give your rebuttal now? No, Your Honor. Eh? They're not just giving up, are they? Explain yourself. Slang's theories are fascinating, but they are just that. Theories. I have a witness who is going to debunk everything Miss Lang has put forward thus far. Namely, the defendant herself. Damn. Order in the court. What are they doing? Well, that explains why they were looking for Ophelia during the recess. You heard her. Ophelia's finally believing in her own innocence. What makes Victoria call her to the stand now? I don't know. There's only one way for us to find out. It's making me feel sick to my stomach. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the record. Sorry, but witness? I didn't really witness anything, to be honest. Well, I guess that's not true. I did see the moment that the Thales died. But I'm being tried for that. I'm not here as a witness, per se. Wouldn't it make more sense to say defendant? Please state your name and occupation? I think this will go faster if I don't argue with you. Defendant, then. State your name and occupation. Oh, alright. Ophelia Payne, I'm a nurse at Theo's General Hospital. And it's precisely for that medical experience that you have been called. You're quite familiar with the mechanics of the murder weapon, yes? Is that suspicious? Do not take it as an accusation, Miss Payne. I'm merely asking you as a question. You are accusing her, though. Yes, I know the ins and outs of the death serum pretty well. It's my job, after all. Your Honor, case closed. Declare her guilty now. As I'm sure you're aware, your attorney claims there was a third party who tampered with it. Namely, this killer used the death serum's oxidation property in their murder plot. What are your thoughts on that? Does that theory seem feasible to you? I don't think that would be possible, no. Ophelia? Sorry, Paula, but it's the truth. I know you guys are just trying to help me, but... Defendant, if what you say is true, but completely dismantle the defense's arguments. This is extremely relevant. I'm afraid you must testify further. As was the plan from the beginning, Your Honor. Witness tells precisely why the death serum cannot have been used in the way Miss Lang describes. I'm sorry, Sophie. Oh, betrayal. Now that if this, I'm thinking this might tie into my theory that this is actually blood, and it's the blood from this blood pack, and actually no, whichever one, because this also had red liquid. One of them contains red liquid that is the blood. This is blood type A minus. so it is the wrong blood type for this. But it also says no adverse reactions, so it can't really be the cause of death. So maybe because this is the maybe I should just let them. Maybe I should just let it testify before I start theorizing too much. Serum oxidization. The time that serum takes to oxidize varies from 10 minutes up to a whole hour. However, the time it took for me to give Thales the serum since filling the syringe was 40 minutes. If his death was premeditated, the killer wouldn't take a risk like the serum not oxidizing in time. There's no way they could avoid that risk because of the way the times work out. Unless they use some other method to have their serums change colours. Is it possible? Well, I think that's probably where I present the blood. And now we have it, Miss Lang. Your theory of a calculated killer has been completely dismantled in only one testimony. Oh good, I can't let this testimony stand or I'm done for. That said, this is my client's own testimony. I find it unlikely she should be wrong about any of this. Sophie, please don't hate me for this. I just can't lie. What, were you given the liar curse? What's that? Not a fan of old movies, are you? Over 500-year-old movies. I don't hate you. This testimony isn't great for us, I'll admit, but that's fine. We'll find a way to push through it, because you are innocent. How many MCU movies do you think they'll have made by 25? Yeah, we just have to come with some alternative explanation. I believe in you guys. You and Pal are both. Thanks for the show of support. Don't worry, we've got this. Fascinating. The defendant seems to go against what should be clear from her own testimony. Regardless, the facts are the facts. Dales' death cannot have been done on purpose. It was manslaughter, plain and simple. And the only suspect for that crime is the defendant. I guess they're still saying she accidentally filled Dales' syringe with the death serum. No matter. Once I show how much more sensible my own theory is, the court will have to side with me. This is rather unorthodox, but the defense may cross-examine the defendant. I mean, I suppose there were times when it's happened 500 years ago, but we all thought it was stupid. You could do it. Prove me wrong to prove my innocence. We don't have to prove you wrong necessarily. Just say that there was no way, which is the blood. But first, before we do that, we want to press things. You say this fact means a planned murder would have risked the serum not oxidizing in time. However, what if the killer just didn't know this information in the first place? If the killer wasn't aware of how long oxidization could take, they wouldn't know what they risked. Hey, that sounds reasonable. I'm completely insensible. To use such a complicated method as oxidization, this murder would have to be premeditated. Do you think a premeditated killer wouldn't fully prepare by learning all they can about the method? They would know how long it could take. No question. I don't know why you assume it has to be premeditated just based on that. If the killer was only going on half-remembered information, then clears up the anomaly. Even then, its oxidization was for the purpose of confusing the nurse in charge, so you say. This killer was lucid enough to manipulate the defendant's actions with some planning. Why wouldn't they be lucid enough to remember important details about how the oxidization works? And don't say they never would have learned that information in the first place. This property of the serum is not common knowledge. Only chemists and hospital staff would know it. People knowledgeable enough to know the intricacies as well as the surface level. So, a complete dismissal of my theory. I suppose we'll have to find another way around this then. So they're saying that... That's interesting actually. Only chemists and hospital staff would know it. And she was formerly a nurse. So, she would know. He might not necessarily know because it's not common knowledge. Well, he is also a middle school teacher, but he's not teaching anything to do with that. He's teaching humanities. But at the same time, he also had a sister who worked for that job, and he was preparing to take the death serum, so he might have researched about it. Ollie, don't see him knowing anything about it. Detective, I'm not suspecting him at all at the moment, but he might not know straight off the bat. And yeah. How do you know precisely how long it took? How should I make sure my work is proceeding on schedule? As such, I check the clock on my phone often to see how quickly I'm doing things. I think Ollie might have said something similar to this. So then it took 40 minutes. Yes, which actually isn't that long by hospital standards. Isn't that the truth? At least 20 of those minutes came after I put the serum bags in their respective rooms. So it's even worse if that's the time the syringes were tampered with. Albeit still possible. You sure you didn't, get confused by hearing the time spoken out loud, did you? What? That doesn't even make sense. I suppose she didn't hit anyone over the head with a statue-shaped clock. Damn, Sophie, you've been reading the old trial histories. That man's first trial. Is that so? But what if the murder wasn't premeditated? Huh? I thought your argument revolved around a complicated plan to kill her. Is poking some holes in some syringes really that complex? It's entirely possible it could have been a spur at the moment act. Another fascinating claim is that he lacks evidence. Why do you back it up with a source? Fair. Is that evidence that the murder wasn't premeditated? Just for kicks from the side of here's my proof that the murder wasn't premeditated. As you can see, my source doesn't exist. No, it totally exists. It just it was revealed to me in a dream. I see. Unfortunately, we can't appear into your dreams, Miss Line. Well, you could if you were playing my first case, actually. Dream a better turnabout. But oh good, because you would see Paula there. Ooh. What kind of dreams are you having, Sophie? As such, I'm forced to hand down a penalty. Not just for that, but also for whatever dubious thoughts I felt you had just now. Saw right through me, huh? But yeah, we don't actually think. My source is that I made it the hell up! That's not very professional. Then perhaps it's more accurate to say that I was merely positing a possibility. Whether I believe in it or not has yet to be determined. Your Honor, the source is that I made it the fuck up! I see. In that case, you may return to the testimony. Hold it. Run me through this one more time. What is the killer risking? Well, it's only 40 minutes since 5 minutes since Dr. Theo's serum, as I said. The death serum can, but does not always, take an hour to finish oxidizing. So even if the killer punctured the syringes at the earliest possible opportunity, he would still be risking the prospect of the serum not having oxidized by the time I saw it. Thanks for the rephrase, I think I got it now. I suppose if I wanted to make progress, I could show how the killer could have subverted that risk. Some other method. Could you give me some examples? Huh? What do you... Oh right. You can brainstorm other ways the killer could have changed its colour. Unfortunately, I can't really think of anything. At least you tried. Another method would bypass the flaws of oxidization altogether. You appear lost in thought. Do you believe you're going somewhere with this? Do I have proof of that other method to change the serum's colour without oxidization? I'm gonna say no for now because I want to see the ending dialogue and I'll come back around to this. Pay me no heed. I'll simply carry on with the cross-examination. Very well. I can't believe Mix Factora actually called Ophelia as a witness. What a dirty trick! They've done worse. Whatever, the strategy remains the same. We have to find ways to keep pushing our theory in spite of this testimony. Right, the more credible we make our theory, the less Factora stays ahead. But what happens if we well and truly hit a roadblock? Let's not think about that right now. Think happy thoughts. You know who I'm looking at, right? That'll be easy. How dare you, adorable little thing. I was gonna use that on you. Same brain. Same brain. If she's the killer, she's good. If she's not the killer, then that'll be a good match, won't it? Let's... Oh, I went a bit too far. I was going to just present the blood pack, but maybe you have to press and then... I do indeed. Fascinating. You can handle the killer tender death serum red without using its hostile properties. So that is the right answer, but I do want to see the failure dialogue. As you can see, this method is what the killer used for their plan. Sophie? Maybe we should just keep brainstorming, yeah? I'm inclined to agree. I don't think that was right. I believe I have exactly that on the method. Oh, fascinating. Please don't leave us in the dark. The only requirement is that the death serum has to go from clear to red, yes? Tell me, what do you get when you mix those two colours? Red and clear, that would be pink, yes? Wrong. That's red and white. Red and clear just makes red. So then, is it not possible that the clear death serum will simply mix with this red blood? Where do you even get that? I found this blood pack in Mr. Whedon's room. As you can see, it's half empty, so someone clearly took the blood from it. Likely from the murder. For the murder. Perhaps we were just using an operation of some kind. No, no one who went into that room that they needed a blood transfusion. Oh, is that so? Regardless, recall that the death serum was in an airtight syringe at the time. How do you propose the killer managed to mix those two liquids knowing this? Like this, maybe? I don't think it's a good sign when you're arguing ended maybe. Come on, you're fine with it when they ended potentially. Is it just because there's a fancier word? When you say potentially, you're typically proposing a theory with some merit behind it. Not that I'm a fan of that either, of course. Maybe I should hand on a penalty. Potentially. It's not a potentiality if you actually just do it. I still maintain the killer mix of death serum with the blood from this blood pack. I'd say with a syringe, right? Remember earlier when I proposed that the holes in the syringes with the serums came from a syringe? I believe that was not its only purpose. Maybe the killer injected blood into the death serum using a syringe. The syringe containing the death serum was filled to the top. That's how syringes work. They're airtight. Therefore, there was no room to fill it with another liquid, like blood. A syringe has more than one purpose. The killer could have easily sucked some liquid out, so it was not completely full. We need another syringe, I assume. There were rather a few in that drawer. They had room to take two. The word syringe is losing all meaning for me at this point. We're taking some amount of death serum out of the syringe, still let it be deadly. Actually, the death serum is still lethal even at levels below what we fill the syringes with. Well, it appears that there's no problem with Slang's theory. I believe your argument centered on disproving said theory, so your own be the only possibility? That it did, Your Honor. However, I'm not quite done yet. Mr. Lang, allow me to interrogate you about exactly how you think the crime occurred. Sure. In theory. Well, we'll do this next time. Bit of an awkward place, but I don't know how long this part is going to go on for, and, you know, this is kind of starting a new thing, so we can save it for next time. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, or else you'll be the one on trial next. Thanks for watching, and don't die, because that would be bad. Bye-bye.